Here we are with another Friday Night Live. It's February 25th, 2022. Another interesting day, Started off with some more snow in the greater TO, and then we went into sunshine in the afternoon. Nice, crisp, cold, refreshing. Let me do a sound check just to make sure here. Okay, we got the sound happening. It's very strange what happens, but hey, it's working now. Hope everybody's doing great. Living and loving it. It's a lot of time sharing a lot of information. And unless we are really ready to commit into a spiritual lifestyle, not much will change. When we focus on the physicality and repairing things in the physicality, it's all fine and dandy, but that's not where our focus should be, because it's not going to get us very far. We've been down those roads, and we need to come to a point in agreement to let it all go and start dancing with the divine, as we say, into the realm of Plath. It's a beautiful place where we can dwell and have access to infinite abundance in every which way. Nourishment, first and foremost, to nourish our soul, nourish our spirit. Once that's nourished, and we nourish the emotion, the physicality is automatically nourished and fed. So these are the most important things that we find. The physical imbalances, which leads us to health challenges. We can always look back to, of course, the emotion and in relationships. In relationships, there's emotion. They go hand in hand. So, very interesting times with everything going on. We got the Ukraine situation and everything else. Don't listen to the news. I can't tell you what to do, but I suggest that you stay away from mainstream news, because you're not going to find anything but propaganda in that place, which leads us to more confusion and unrest and fear and all kinds of things. I wonder what they used to do when there was no news medias. They had the pigeons flying around with notes and letters. So just focus on what's important, our spiritual life. Is anybody out there? Can anybody hear me? Give a thumbs up. I can't pronounce that name. Hello. Not sure what language that is. Avesta, how you doing? Nice to see you. This season change is coming up. Hebrew, Alex. Okay, hi, Alex. I, I don't know Hebrew. Sorry about that, but nice to see you here. The season change is a few weeks away. What are they? About 3 weeks away. So that's as you know, MFS is a glorified dry fast. We always put our focus, a lot of focus on the season changes. We focus continually day-to-day basis, but I like to put a lot of emphasis on the season changes, only because we work with the energies of the seasons. It's very powerful. Look what happens in, for example, in Canada or somewhere with all the four seasons. We get a vast shift in how nature is responding and working with the energies. If you're in a tropical climate, you're going to see shifts as well. It's just different shifts because these powerful energies are bringing forth the changes. And we can utilize these by going within and going into our dry fasting state, so the body can easily transition from one energy to the other. It really, really helps with that. Avesta, doing good, easing more into fasting lifestyle. Awesome. Eating only when hungry is also a good one. How is it there? You look bright. We're doing great up here. Besides all the other fiasco that's going on in the country, but we live in the moment and enjoy each day. Eating only when hungry. That's a good rule to follow. But what we found is interesting. The more we eat, the more hungry we get. So what is hunger? If you're nourished, you don't really get hungry. We've discussed about when we were children playing outside. That's what we did. We playing outside all day. Even in the winter, we stayed outside for hours just until we froze. Parents would call us to go eat and stuff. But we were in that realm of the plasma love always flowing. We were doing what we love to do, just playing, with not a care in the world, and no thought process about hunger. Maybe every once in a while that would come, but we were being nourished through doing what we love to do, and the hunger was not there. So then, over the years of being programmed, it's time to eat. Come and eat. You have to come to eat. Then that starts shifting our whole belief system to a degree, and everything about how we look at things, because that programming starts taking over, and then we start going by the time while we need to eat. And so eating when hungry is great to utilize in life, but we have to be careful, because the more obstructive we are, the more we're going to eat, and the more we eat, the more we're going to want to eat, the more hungry we're going to get. So that hunger thing is a very, very delicate thing, in the sense that I don't believe in hunger like I used to believe in hunger. If we're hungry, we're hungry for spirit, for nourishment, spiritual nourishment, and also because we are obstructive at the physical, mental, and emotional level. So as we start purging all these obstructions out, that so-called hunger starts diminishing more and more and more. So um, it's just uh, what I've experienced, and many others of us have experienced going down this route. Avesta, you still experience hunger after 30 years of fasting? Yeah, of course. As we say, when we start going, every once in a while, we want to indulge in some more obstructive foods. Guess what? You wake up the next day more hungry. So then you got to take control and say, no, no, I'm going back into my fasting state, clean, clean up, and then the hunger starts diminishing as we clear out the GI tract. So there's a lot of false hunger, is what I'm trying to say. So that's okay. Was Alex like dry fast? Yeah. Dry fast is the cycles that we're doing continuously. Master fast system is a dry fast, a glorified dry fast. It's the whole focus is around dry fasting, a dry fasting lifestyle, and we support the dry fast with all the different tools that we use. So it's all the focus is dry fasting. We're continuously doing a daily cycle of dry fast, a weekly cycle of dry fast, a monthly cycle of dry fast, and a season change cycle of dry fast. And that continues as a lifestyle. It's not an event. This is a lifestyle that we focus on. Avesta, I don't really feel much hunger anymore after some years fasting, much less as years. That's what I mean, right? Yeah. So because you're maintaining clean minimal eating and you're continuously living a fasting lifestyle, there's not going to be much hunger, true hunger. And pay attention. I don't know what your diet's like, but when you're eating more heavier or more obstructive foods, if you're doing that at all, you'll find that you get more hungry. Yeah, I think any form of hunger is obstructive energy. Yeah. This needs to be cleansed. Natural state is on plasma and no hunger. Yep. That's what happens when we get to that point. And if we're emotionally ready after years of preparing ourselves through the experiences, and many cycles of those experiences, we come to a term. Our relationships are all good and balanced, and we feel good and all that. We may come to a point and we say, I think I'm done with physical eating for now, and move on into that direction. I'm not going to say for good, because we never say never, right? We don't know what the future holds, but we just play in the now space, and we're done with that, and go on liquids maybe for a while, and see how that goes. And some very few will even let go of the liquids after some time, but it takes the time, and this is not something that um, it's not something that we want to push ourselves into by all means. We've only seen people get in trouble trying to push themselves on what they call a breatharian type lifestyle. We call it living off the fields, right? So yeah, just allow the processes to unfold and take place. Um, with what's been happening the last couple of years, there's a lot of fear and pressure in every sense of the way. And I've seen how we as humanity have shifted big time as of the fears, taking over some people's lives. And it affects everybody, because it's what do we say? It's all about the fields, and fear has a field strength. The rest of my diet is raw vegan, sometimes cooked, and lately thinking about chicken. But I refuse to indulge in energies where blood was spoiled and life taken. Awesome. Yeah, this can happen as we go down the road. Um, I was vegan for how many years? For quite a while. Uh, no animal products, and then I indulged in animal products. So these things will happen and may not happen. So, um, the thing is that we want to be able to be in um, control for the most part of the choices we make. Every once in a while, things are going to happen. We're going to fall off the wagon, or things can happen by accident or whatever. So yeah, We don't want to be uh, totally strict, like I was going to call myself, anal raw foodist. It have to be 100% raw. So it is what it is. Um, uh, and that's it. So yeah, you sounds like you're going down a great path, Vesta. I would continuously stay focused and stay on the path of the spirit, dancing with the divine, as we say. How many calories or meals do you eat on eating days? I have no idea about calories. I don't count any calories. No idea. Some days, we eat very minimal, like maybe a handful of dates, and then there's some days that we'll eat, regular meal, and some days we overeat. It just varies. Just keep it going. I don't count calories. Um, I usually try to keep it to not more than 2 meals a day. Sometimes it happens we'll eat 3 times, but it's this body does not do well with eating a lot. And even though we know it and everything, it does happen occasionally. So we try and minimize it. But um, 1 to 2 meals a day is the usual. Um, you know, and away we go. We all have to choose our level of obstructiveness. Remember that. Nobody else can do it for you. No two people are going to be at the same levels, if you want to call it that. Everybody's unique, and everybody's going to be at different levels of how much they're going to eat and how much they're not going to eat and how much they're going to fast and so on and so forth, and how much they want to, embrace the fasting lifestyle. It's everybody's going to be different. There's no two people the same. There's infinite ways you can live the master fasting lifestyle through the levels that we've designed. Makes it simple to adjust and make changes, and you know um, open up yourself to digging deeper or letting off and relaxing a bit. So just embrace it all. I don't know. Am I being cut off? I'm getting weird things happening here today. So yeah. Um, so calories, no idea. Back to the calories. I know there's so many people promoting you need to eat so many calories a day and all that stuff. Um, I used to believe in that stuff. That the whole calorie thing has no basis in reality. The only reality to it is people who believe in that theory. And if you believe in that theory, it's going to affect you. That's the path of the spirit, and dancing with the divine comes with sacrifices. Absolutely. And that's the challenge for people. They don't want to sacrifice. They want everything now and everything handed to them. Had to let go of old connections which didn't resonate anymore. Yep. This became more and more clear while fasting. Yep. You see how fasting brings up all the weaknesses in your life, in yourself, in your health, and your physicality, your emotions, your relationships, everything. It'll bring it all up, and it'll put it into your face. The answers will be right in your face. You can't miss them. You're going to start asking the proper questions, and the answers right there. And you're going, why didn't I see this before? So we must come to the place of decisions and where we want to go, because we have free will to choose. And most people will not choose the path of a fasting lifestyle. That I can assure you. After being with this for 30 almost 32 years, most people will not choose a fasting lifestyle. It's just the way it is. Um, and that's okay. That's okay. But, you know, the rewards of living a spiritual fasting lifestyle are infinite. And, you know, we are not in this physical body on a permanent basis for eternity. It's temporary. So the rewards, from my understanding, will come after we leave the physical body as well. So, you know, we may not see all the rewards in the physicality, but we are working towards our um, ongoing spiritual life, which is for forever. And, you know, small stamp of so-called time in this realm is nothing compared to eternity. So where do we want to put our focus? In this realm and get caught up in materialism, or do we want to put all our focus on, uh, you know, the rest of our eternity, where we're going to spend our days, if there's such a thing as that in the other realms? I don't think there is, but there may be. We don't know. Yeah, there's lots of thought process. What's important to us? What's important? And if we look at the past, especially the last 30 to 50 years, and we've seen what's been happening to the planet and how humans have, especially humans in major cities and with infrastructure, all putting focus on what? Materialism. So it's um, it's difficult for people to make these decisions because there's a lot of infrastructure in place to make it difficult, right? Avesta, do you still brush teeth? I heard some don't brush teeth anymore and teeth in good, better health. Yeah, I use, I still do morning and evening, just out of habit. So there's people that are fruitarian, yeah, they don't brush their teeth at all. So I miss some nights here and there, some days. I don't really worry about it, but there was that video that was shared about teeth connected to emotion. She was an ex-dentist, and if you can find it and watch that video, brushing teeth, you say goodbye to toothbrushes. So if you're having any teeth issues, it's emotional. And what have we been saying in this realm for years now, since we started? Emotion is seed. Everything goes back to emotion. If you got problem in the teeth, go back to an emotion. Why is there a problem there? There's some emotion imbalance. So if there's any emotion imbalance, sorry, if there's any problem with a tooth, there's also a problem in the physical body. And if there's a problem in the physical body, there's a problem with the emotion imbalances. We have to come to terms with that and recognize it, embrace it, and let these things go so we can uh, allow it to restore itself to balance. And it does. It does. So teeth are something we have a big challenge with in modern humans. Big challenges. Um, Look how many people have crooked teeth, for example. Um, you know, if we look in the animal kingdom, wild animal kingdom, where it hasn't been tampered so much by man, you will see perfect sets of teeth in these animals. But then we go into modern civilized humans with all the technologies, and we see complete opposite destruction of teeth. Well, Weston, was it Weston Price who did the all the research about the teeth and stuff and the tribes. Good information. I don't agree with his solutions and everything, but um, yeah, you know. So teeth are very important. You know, it's also good to look at the Chinese charts of which organs are connected to your which teeth. So you can see that if you have a problem with a certain tooth, I think the front teeth are kidneys, you know, and I have this tooth here, which was uh, which started getting destroyed. I had white spots on it from the dentist years where they're telling my parents you need to give them fluoride, fluoride, fluoride. And then I started having teeth. But I mentioned this before. The In grade school over here, they used to have dentists, and everybody would get free dentistry, and I got 5 fillings in that time, which I think it was a 1 or 2 year span, if I remember. I got 5 fillings. Maybe it's a long time. It was very young. So I never had any more uh, fillings, cavities than those teeth after that point. Think about that. So that's interesting, right? Did I have any teeth that needed to be filled? It's like if you have little specks of cavities, what they call cavity, the body can restore that. You just gotta go to the emotion, and the body will restore it. So, yeah, teeth is a big problem for people. I have read in some books that where beings were who regrown 3 times their teeth after falling out. Yep, man's higher consciousness. There's what's his name from Argentina, the breatharian. He has a video sharing his journey on all his teeth falling out and growing a perfect set of teeth, a third set of teeth, perfect. So that's only after he stopped drinking liquid. Interesting. I think it was a 7 month process. It was very painful of him losing, having the third set growing in and teeth falling out. And so, yeah. Yeah, there's stories of people got hit by lightning growing the third set of teeth. I've heard stories like that. So is it possible? Yeah, it's happened. So how do we trigger the body to regenerate and restore so it can grow a third set of teeth? Like if we look at lizards, you cut off their tail, they regrow the tail, or limbs and stuff like that. There's some animals that can regrow limbs. So how come that can happen? But if we cut off a limb on a human, that doesn't happen, or you pull out your second set of teeth, which are supposed to be your final, it doesn't happen. There must be something in the way from that to be able to trigger the proper function of the physical body to regrow things. So, um, you know, I'm sure we'll discover um, a certain technique through fasting that will be able to grow a third set of teeth. Um, for now, we use all the tools possible to help the teeth as best we possibly can. Um, and we've suggested many things many times about teeth, like Victor Truviano. Yeah, that's the one who grew a third set of teeth. You can look him up. He shares his story in an interview. Interesting times. Will we be able to do through technological advances? Could be, if it's based on plasma, on the functions of the universe. if it's based on gatekeeping science, not going to happen. With patents and all that crap, not going to happen. I'm considering let the dentist taking all teeth and see if they regrow in near future with stem cells as possible. What stem cells? I know some stuff has happened with this stem cell stuff, but what is it? What are they doing? It's basically a drug. It's basically a drug. So you're putting something in the body, and the body has to respond to it. And the outcome could be sometimes that a tooth can grow back, or a joint can grow back, or whatever, through the stem cell things that they're doing. Is because we're, environments dictate outcome. You're disturbing the environment. It's already in a, what do we say, obstructive state, and you're introducing another obstruction. So the body has to react to it, and that reaction may cause the body to restore that area because it's in an emergency state, for example. So it's got to do extra work in that, and put emphasis on that area. But it doesn't work all the time because it's not based on what? The laws of the universe, which is the laws of God's creation and how everything's created. Do we know how it all works exactly? No, but we're starting to gain more and more, a little more knowledge of all that. And we'll see what happens over the next few years in our life if we're still around. Um, there's been talk of these med beds for many years to get in, and it's going to restore everything. That would be wonderful. Just jump in and don't worry about anything anymore. Just everything gets restored. So there's some articles on how to regrow teeth in so many weeks or something. A lot of meditation stuff and visualization. I believe I read it a while ago. Yeah, teeth is it's interesting stuff. Using I found an article of some of these dentists somewhere in the States. They were using zinc and calcium and was something else. Zinc and calcium, I remember, and they were getting extraordinary results with helping people with their teeth. They didn't explain it on the videos or anything how they were doing it, but they're using a certain way or whatever that they've discovered. And they had, if anybody can find that out. Next time I got to try and save these articles because some good stuff, could help somebody. Mineralization, we've seen people introduce minerals. There's also wild herbs. People consuming wild herbs, and they restore teeth issues, teeth challenges. So chewing on wild herbs, wild grasses, chewing them, you can spit it out. Just getting that energy within. Grasses I've always loved grasses. My mother had a bed sore on her heel of her foot, and after about a week, I go, I gotta get some wheatgrass. And sometimes you're overwhelmed and you don't even think about all the simple tools that we have. And I got some wheatgrass, and mortar pestled it and put it on and taped it on, and started healing. It's wheatgrass. I've seen amazing things on wounds. You can chew it and keep the pulp around the gums and just let that energy work into the gums. Or you can do it with wild herbs as well. You can wheatgrass, barley grass. You can use wild grasses. The beautiful long grasses that grows in fields. You can use that. So the wild plants have a certain powerful energy within them that cultivated plants don't have. But grasses are very close to wild, even cultivated ones. So yeah, you can benefit from the energies of these grasses. Um, I don't know if I'd want to pull out my teeth myself. Um, I'd only pull it out if there was a big problem with a tooth, and you've tried to use all the tools to help solve it, and it's severe pain, and you can't keep control of it. That's the only time I would consider pulling it out. Um, Otherwise, do your best to try and keep what's there. If a third set of teeth are going to grow in, you don't need to pull out your teeth. What happens when you get your baby teeth? They fall out when the second set of teeth starts growing in. You yank them out, and the second set's there. So that's the way it happened for Victor Trujillo. It was a painful process because as the third set was growing in, it was painful, and he was having pain. He didn't know what it was. He went to a dentist, and they did an X-ray. Voila, third set of teeth growing in. So he just embraced and allowed the process to take place, and all his teeth fell out. Grew with uh, a third set of teeth perfectly, and threw away his glasses. His eyesight restored perfectly. So how does this happen? On no thing, because the no thing is where everything is. The abundance of infinite plaf, because that's what's allowing the soul to work in autopilot. You don't need any physical things. We don't need materialism. We don't need any substance in this realm to allow these things to correct themselves, for things to restore themselves in balance. We don't need anything. And that's the beauty of what we've seen uh, um, in this metamorphosis of people going through master fasting. We've seen so much magic happen in all these years. It's just incredible. So everything's possible. Where are we going to take it as individuals? It's up to us. How far you want to take it, how much digging you want to do. Because as the more you go down this path, the more we go down the fasting path, the spiritual path, the more we're going to reveal. And it just gets getting deeper and deeper and deeper. So yeah, that's amazing. Going to set intentions, regrowing new set of teeth. Natural, yeah. Punch in how to grow a third set of teeth on the internet. I'm pretty sure you'll find that article. And there's some other stuff you may find. Um, and make it happen. Do it and document it. Show people how it's done. Be interesting. It won't be anything surprising to me because of what we've seen that's possible. We've seen so much regeneration happen. Teeth is the biggest challenge. We've had people that were able to get their teeth in the better state than they've ever been, and then we had people that have big challenges with the teeth when they start a fasting lifestyle. So there's a lot of stored up emotions that need to be worked on. If you can find that video on a dentist, the ex-dentist, watch that. I don't know, when was it posted? Last month, maybe? You can do a search, maybe find it. So yeah, go for it, Avesta. What's your age, Avesta, if you don't mind? Not that it matters, just wondering. The less numbers on our age, the more we can see happen. But it doesn't really matter. Everything is possible. It doesn't matter what age. It's just there's more work as we move up in the numbers. to do, and if we have our intentions set firmly and we stay focused. I'm 33, so still very young. About me, I'm 57. I'm going to be 58 this year, this summer. So the numbers are adding up. It's feels like uh, feels like I just started yesterday. But my goodness gracious, and that's it's like sometimes I have to think, what's my age? Like it's just mind-boggling that all these years have passed by. It's interesting though. Interesting. Where are we at? 9:40. Anybody else? Don't be shy. That's what we're here for. Embrace of fasting lifestyle, spiritual fasting lifestyle. That's where it's at. Or not. You can go down the path of addition and deficiencies. You can go try that, and that's okay. How does your system handle eating chicken? Not very well. That happens very rarely, but doesn't handle it very well. The when you're eating, pretty much plant based for the most part, um, it's going to be very hard on the system. If you're not eating these animal products regularly, the body's not going to have the um, the system in a state where it can process that stuff. If you're doing it continuously, like many people do, then uh, the body will be able to handle it a little better. But it's still, there's going to be a price to be paid from consuming these things. Um, yeah. Best thing to do is keep it on as least obstructive as possible. Fruit, leafy greens. That's it. Your fruit kingdom is vast and wide. It can consist of cooked fruit, like your squashes. So many varieties of squashes. You can do that. We enjoy those some squashes baked and they're making soups and stuff. Um, but keep the staple as fresh, ripe fruit. That's going to be your best bet. There's infinite arguments around diets, and I'm not one to argue about diets. Um, we are into the art of subtraction, not the um, realm of deficiencies and lack of, meaning you're deficient in this, you need more and more of this vitamin, that mineral, that amino acid, that fat. No, we're not into that stuff. Been down those roads. Didn't go very far going down those roads. And when you see people making changes, you're going to see what we call improvements, what look like improvements. And for a while, it could happen. And then you start seeing other things starting to happen because it's not solving any problem. It's introducing things in the environment where the body is forced to make changes because it's forced to use whatever you're introducing. That's different. That's the way I see it. I may be wrong, but all the evidence around what I've seen in this last 3+ decades suggests that. And and when we embrace with that knowledge, we can see what can come out of it. And like I was saying earlier, everything's possible. Um, everything. It's We've seen it. We've seen nerves regenerate, bones straighten out and regenerate, people's hair getting better, people's vision getting better, you know, etc., etc., etc. Energy levels, sleep less, breathing challenges. It goes on and on. The big C and everything else in between. So, what is it you want in life? And allow it to unfold. The When we're in a spiritual path, um, the physicality takes care of itself, as we say. We don't have to worry about it. We don't have to put focus on it because we will be nourishing our emotion, which will satisfy the physicality. You know, that's back to the teeth thing, emotion. That ex-dentist, she discovered it went back to emotion, right? The Bible says vegan diet, fruit, veggies, nuts, seeds is the diet in order to enter the kingdom of heaven, and one should abstain from animal products. Absolutely. I don't believe we need to do any animal products at all. I think this was written in Arnold Harrod's book. Yeah, he discussed stuff like that. And he experimented. And every time when he went back to adding stuff, animal products and stuff, he did experiments with cutting himself. And the way he healed the best with no pain was when he was on strictly fruitarian diet for a few years. And then when he added other things, he started seeing more and more problems. When he added vegetables, he seen more problems. When he added animal products, way more problems. So I've seen the same in myself. And when you're fasting, it's even better. Um, yeah, animal products um, are a big challenge for a lot of people, for probably the majority of people to give up completely. But just think of, we're not telling people to stop eating them completely. At least um, reduce it substantially. If you're eating animal products every day, reduce it to once a week, and then as time goes on, once you get comfortable with that, reduce it to once a month, and as time goes on, reduce it to once every 2 months, and so on, and in 3 months, and then eventually you're not going to miss it anymore. But the more you eat of that stuff, the more you're going to want to eat. That's what I find with anything, especially the all the cooked food substances and the animal products. The more you eat, the more you're going to want to eat. The more obstructive you become and eat, the more you're going to want to eat, the more hungry you're going to be. So, best to stick with more of a vegan type diet, right? Nothing that has a face. Don't eat anything that has a face or that came from a face. So that's the whole animal kingdom. And then there's infinite suggestions about what vegans can eat and what they can't eat, and so on and so forth. Beer, French fries, and chocolate bars, they could be vegan. It's not going to be a healthy diet. It's like with orgasms, the more orgasms, yeah, the more one wants. Celebrate best. Yeah. Yeah, and when you stay away from it completely, you won't even be thinking about that stuff, especially if you're a fasting lifestyle. If you get into eating animal products, that brings out the carnal in man, right? Heavy fats, seeds, nuts, and seeds, you'll be wanting to do that more. If you've been staying away from all those heavy foods for a while, and then you introduce those, you're going to see, whoa, how everything changes. Seed goes to seed, nuts and seeds. You want to you want to go to seed like a horse. Yeah. So um, the what you're going to see the how the body responds to things and what they actually are doing to you is when you introduce them after you're doing longer fasts and you introduce different foods, and then you can see how the body reacts to these foods. It's the more you clean out the GI tract, and then you introduce different foods, and you're going to have a much stronger response to what they're doing to the body. So that's why we say the high fats, high proteins are not something that we want to be continuously doing it or at all. um, you get somebody on a sad diet, heavy duty sad diet, lots of fats and stuff, and then you put them on a vegan type of high fat, you're going to see improvements because you're pushing out all those really obstructive fats with the uh, different type of fats, which would be from the vegetable kingdom versus the synthetic and animal kingdom. And you're going to see an improvement up to a point. And then when you let go of that, then you're going to start seeing much better. When you fast fasting, get into a fruit-based diet, and the body doesn't have to hold on to anything. Just think about oil when you get oil on your hands, right? How much it takes to wash that stuff off, or the dishes, the plates and stuff. When you don't use any oils, you don't need any soap. Everything comes off very easily with just water. So if it's so difficult to get the oil and greases off the external part of your body, just think of what it's going to do on the inside of the body. It's the same thing. So it just builds up layers of obstruction. Dr. Philneff has a buckwheat porridge system. Heard about it? No. It says very cleansing and nurturing for the GI tract. Good way to prepare the body for a fast. Okay. Buckwheat is, a lot of people are allergic to buckwheat. Buckwheat porridge system. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how cleansing these things are, but Dr. Philneff wrote the dry fasting book. I don't agree with everything he talks about in there. He is a doctor, and they have a different way of thinking and a different way of trained. I don't have any pieces of paper. Vesta, what with what kind of oil you cook when cooking? We don't use any oil cooking. None. If you were to use any oil, very small amount of coconut oil, but I would suggest do not use any oil, because coconut oil can withstand heat better than pretty much most oils. But don't use any oils. Why do you need oil? You don't need oil. Learn to cook without oil when you cook. Steaming, baking. Learn techniques to lock in flavors, and that's what you want to do. Oils. You can eat oils if you like. Suzanne, how do you feel about smoothies? Smoothies are okay, but I wouldn't be doing like fruit smoothies very often. I would just eat the fruit, because we have teeth for a reason, right? To chew food, and when you put anything through a juicer or processor, it does change it. I'm not saying we can't use these things, but in some instances, let's say somebody has no teeth. Okay, well, we're gonna make some smoothies for them, right? Green smoothies, they're okay. It's fine. Um, uh, that's good. Greens are a little more challenging for the body to break down. So if you put them in a smoothie, I wouldn't mix. Um, you can properly mix fruit with some greens, but like lemons would be okay and stuff like that. But I would, try and stay with the greens as a smoothie. Like basically a salad, and just make it into a smoothie, something like that, with no oils, no salt or anything like that. There's many ways of flavoring things, like, lemon. You can use orange, stuff like that. I haven't made a green smoothie. I haven't had a smoothie in years now. I used to live on smoothies. Um, Celery, cucumber juice. Yes, green juice. We use green juices to slow down. They don't have any real power in cleansing. Um, Celery and cucumbers, great, but it doesn't have any power. If you read the MFS protocol, the green juices are there for slowing us down. And it slows us down quite a bit. Like if you compare how the body digests fruit versus how the body digests leafy greens, there's a big difference. There's a lot more work for the body to digest greens than fruit. A lot more work. Unless it's an avocado, which is high fat. That's a different story. There's very few fruits that have the high fat like that. The avocado is probably one of the highest. Durian is about 30%. Avocado 70% fat. Big difference. Olives are about 20% fat. So yeah, we can use these things. There's lots of tools. Do we want to make them as part of our lifestyle? Some people do. Some people like living on smoothies. So yeah, Avestas, read what Avestas says. After years of making smoothies, I realized chewing is superior to smoothies. Digestion begins in the mouth. Absolutely. By chewing, and this optimized digestive enzymes. Well, this digestive, we can call digestive enzymes, but there is a process that starts with the mouth, and that's the saliva starts going in. So, when people are doing smoothies, if they're not chewing it, you lose out on that. But also, breaking the food down that way is different than breaking it down with your teeth. Absolutely. You're going to get much more benefit if you chew the food properly than the smoothies. But if you're not chewing your food properly, if you're one that gulps food down without chewing, then smoothies would be something to help you transition and then learn to chew the smoothies. Like take your time chewing each gulp. Don't just down it. Be sure to chew it. Greens, veggies feel good when lifting weights. Yeah, yeah. Um, the greens, some say, are the builders, right? And the fruit, the cleansers. I say that the plaf is the builder, and the foods we want to keep them to the least obstructive, so we don't have to deal with that stuff, and we can tap into the plaf, the fields, instead of the physicality. But for us to get to the belief system and to get to that point, it's not going to happen overnight. This is something that we're going to need to go through experiences over and over and over again to build that confidence and faith in the spirit versus the matter. But yeah, greens generally are, if you want to be in bodybuilding and stuff like that, you would definitely want to have greens. But there are fruitarian bodybuilders. There are fruitarian bodybuilders. So if there's a challenge building on fruitarian type diet with no greens, then there's obstructive issues you have to look at. I always go back to obstructions, not that we are lacking something. Lacking mentality is gatekeeping science. That's what we call it, gatekeeping science. So yeah, very interesting stuff. When we open ourselves up to the universe is in the creator, we're going to start um, asking different questions and getting different answers than what we've been programmed to to believe. And that's how it went for me these past 3+ decades, right? It just continuously questioning, trying, experimenting, questioning, and looking for what's happening with the results. So, what we've seen with master fasters is by far the most profound thing that we've seen that you can do as a lifestyle to make amazing positive changes and allow regeneration, cleansing, regeneration, purging, regeneration happen at levels that I haven't seen in anything else in all these years. Do we have all the answers? By far, no. So, one day at a time. That's all we can do. One day at a time. Any last questions before we sign off? Excuse me. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining in. It's always a blast to have interaction with people. It's, I'm not here to just talk for no reason with myself. I like having interaction. It's always wonderful. So stay focused. Let's continue elevating all souls. Let's continue focusing on the wonderful divine, and keep digging. Stay, keep digging. That's all we can say. Keep digging. Ciao for now. Thanks, Avesta, Suzanne, and everybody else who was on. Sharon, Alex, I don't know who else, and Rana. Ciao, ciao. We'll see you again on the group and on Wednesday afternoon, Facebook Live. Ciao.